Hi everyone, this is Winged. Another self, which is the God self that we discovered in the dimensions. Now this God self was fascinating. So the God self of each and every single human being was up there somewhere looking down on themselves on earth. So just kind of like observing and here and there tweaking your life appropriately, when it seems necessary. So you had your one atom God, which was like in the center of your solar plexus. You had your higher self, which was placed on your back, literally, in a little compartmentalized cabinet. Then you had your God self up there somewhere. Now this was the Trinity system placement of each and every single human being within and of the system. Apparently having your God self, your higher self, and your one atom God self assisting and supporting you, but they weren't at all. They were all just sitting separate from human beings, completely separate, standing back, just observing, maybe, possibly, here and there tweaking a refraction of a movement for no reason and purpose whatsoever, really. So we discovered the God selves. Now, we didn't just, remove the one atom gods, the higher selves, and the God selves. We gave them the opportunity to, as systems, choose life. In other words, through forgiveness and many processes in the dimensions, which I will be talking about in a little while as well, and through corrective action, and then choosing life, and then participating in directing and supporting human beings, standing within and as them, as the totality of their being, and then directing them accordingly. Because human beings, at this moment in where they are and their processes, are unable to do that for themselves. They require that directive support. And again, the God selves, the infinite, the higher selves, and the one atom gods just refused to. They said no, apparently they were more important than human beings on earth. Like, why should I give myself up for human beings? It was ridiculous. So we gave the God selves, the one atom God, and the higher selves the opportunity to, prove themselves to themselves and just directly participate and support human beings. And that carried on for about a month or two, and then we realized there was more deception. The God selves just refused to participate, refused to assist and support, because they were too important, and so there were systems that were removed appropriately. So they don't exist anymore. Neither does the one atom God, and neither does the higher selves, because we realized that beings don't require that to exist. Other dimensional beings that did exist were more, in directive support and application than anyone else. And so, certain dimensional beings applied effective forgiveness, went through the processes, assisted and supported themselves as human beings to support human beings and direct and assist human beings through their individual processes. Therefore, each and every single human being in this world had a God self. To me, it was just ridiculous, because here's this being, this apparent God self, sitting all high and mighty up there, and you're a human being suffering and struggling in this world, and they're doing nothing, absolutely nothing, just sitting up there, just looking down like, interesting, oh, wow, that's interesting, observing, doing nothing. Only when we intervened and said, hello, wake up, there's human beings in this world suffering, experiencing hardship and pain, and you're up there all high and mighty saying, no, I'm more important than anyone else down there. I'm not going to get my hands dirty, please. I'll just remain here and just observe. We just didn't accept that. We didn't accept any observation, any standing back, any sitting, waiting up there, because it's unacceptable. here are human beings, as I've said, struggling, suffering, experiencing extensive hardship in this world. How can anyone up there just sit and say, I'm just not going to do nothing, I'm just sitting back observing? No, it was unacceptable. So that's why I pulled in everything and just said, right, here's your forgiveness processes, here's the processes that you're required for yourself to go through, to realize what you've accepted and allowed, and what you've actually done by just standing back and doing absolutely nothing, that you're as responsible for what's going on in this world. Apply forgiveness, apply corrective action through participating in this world, support and assist and direct human beings appropriately, and start experiencing yourself for the first time. Didn't want to hear of it, the God selves, the one atom gods, and the higher selves. So they were also removed. Because at the moment all that remained within human beings. So we went also then, as I've said, the sound structural resonance phase, and now with the trees supporting and assisting human beings, with the animals and the fairy. There are some dimensional beings who are now with human beings as well, children, but the structural resonances have now decided to assist and support the dimensions, because the dimensions require just a point of stability for a moment until they find that stability within themselves as they assist and support mankind. Okay, so that's about the God self that does not exist anymore, which is also just a mere system placement interdimensionally again. And we've done this so many times. We found future selves even as well. And multiple, in every parallel future you're able to imagine, there was a future self. This we also removed. It was extensive. Everything that went on. The separation was so vast. No more. No more. You're either here participating or supporting mankind, or you experience the consequences. But we just said, you know what, here is mankind, here is human beings in this world. They require assistance, they require support, directive assistance and support. You know, we just couldn't believe that there are dimensional beings sitting back and doing nothing. Absolutely nothing. And that's why we started pulling in everyone, saying, listen, wake up, support and assist human beings. Okay, thank you very much. This is Winged.